Calgary Foothills.
Mr. Speaker, given the deteriorating trade relationships between Canada and the USA, the UCP caucus is committed to exploring alternative market access, pipelines or no pipelines. That's why last week I traveled to Winnipeg and Churchill, Manitoba to meet the Premier Pallister's team and the locals to discuss market access via the Port of Churchill. I'm most pleased that there are not one, but two private sector offers to purchase the Hudson Bay Railway and the Port of Churchill from Omnitrax. The first one is a letter of intent between Alberta-based iChurchill and the Peguis First Nation. And the second is an agreement in principle between a consortium led by Toronto-based Fairfax and the First Nation businesses. But, Mr. Speaker, it appears that Ottawa is meddling in the transaction between private enterprises, again picking winners and losers and favoring one proponent over another. It means another year will be missed repairing the railway and the shipping window. No matter whom the Omnitrax decides to sell to, Ottawa needs to act fairly, impartially, swiftly to keep their promises to the Manitoba's First Nations. The Port of Churchill is 2 days shorter sailing time to over the St. Lawrence to Europe. Alberta shippers of grain, canola, pulses, forest products will be interested in exploring this gateway to the world. But it is the energy products that will provide the new sources of revenue to keep the port and the railway open and sustained. Alberta stands ready to meet the world's growing energy demand for petroleum in 2018 and beyond. Canada's current reputation is that we can't get anything done. Let's prove it wrong. Let's get the railway repaired and get moving our exports. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Clerk.
Oral question period.
The Honourable Leader of the Official Opposition.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, there's a consortium of First Nations groups proposing an alternative coastal pipeline called the Eagle Spirit Project that would take Alberta oil to the West Coast, the Northwest BC coast, and from there to global markets. Will the Government of Alberta agree with me that this is an excellent initiative, and will the government reach out to the Eagle Spirit proponents to seek ways in which we could help them with this nascent proposal to get market access for Alberta oil under Aboriginal ownership?
The Honourable Deputy Premier.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and to the member for the question. Certainly this is an interesting project, and our Minister of Energy has been in meetings with the consortium, and we certainly are interested in the work that they're proposing, Mr. Speaker. This won't back down on the fact that we've never been as close to Tidewater as we are today, and the success that we've seen with Trans Mountain, especially last week with the significant signal and the investment by the federal government, Mr. Speaker. We're proud of the work we've done to access new markets, and that will continue.
Supplemental.
I'd like to thank the Honourable Deputy Premier for her comments and the government's apparent interest. The challenge, however, Mr. Speaker, is that the Premier told us in this place a few weeks ago that she indicated to Prime Minister Trudeau that this government was only seeking one coastal pipeline, not two. It seems to me two is better than one or none. But, Mr. Speaker, the real problem is Bill C-48. The federal bill that would seek to impose a tanker ban on the northern BC coast that would kill this vital Aboriginal initiative of the Eagle Spirit pipeline. So will the government agree with me and the proponents of Eagle Spirit that the federal government should reconsider the legislation banning tanker traffic on the BC coast?
Thank you. Honourable Deputy Premier.
The real problem, Mr. Speaker, is that the member opposite keeps cheering for Trans Mountain to fail instead of getting on board and supporting it, Mr. Speaker. Canadians are behind Trans Mountain because they know it will help put people to work. 15,000 people, Mr. Speaker, and lead to billions annually for roads, schools and hospitals. National support for this project rose 11% from April to May, Mr. Speaker. We aren't going to back down on the good work that's happening with Trans Mountain. It's as close as we've gotten. We know that the member opposite had 9 years in Ottawa and failed to do it, Mr. Speaker, but under our Premier, this project will get built.
Second supplemental.
Mr. Speaker, the Honourable the Minister's answer had precisely nothing to do with the question I asked, which was about the proposed Eagle Spirit Aboriginal pipeline project to take Alberta oil to the northern BC coast. This is a wonderful initiative of our First Nations communities to pursue economic opportunity, allowing their people to move from poverty to prosperity while allowing Albertans to get a full fair price for our energy products. So, Mr. Speaker, I would invite the Minister to try to answer this question. will she agree, on behalf of the government, with the concerns expressed by these Aboriginal leaders about Federal Bill C-48 and the tanker ban?
Deputy Premier.
Well, Mr. Speaker, what I absolutely committed to, and will again, is that the Minister of Energy has met with this organization. So has the Minister of Indigenous Relations. And you know what, Mr. Speaker, on Trans Mountain, 43 First Nation communities along the pipeline support that project. They support it because they know that it balances and reaches the appropriate environmental protections and supports jobs and economic prosperity, Mr. Speaker. And with regard to the comments from the member opposite, fighting for Alberta's interests and delivering results will always be our Premier's focus. We know the leader has more interest in promoting himself than he does Alberta.